It's another beautiful day here in the city of Lagos, and welcome to Hashtags here on VOP TV. That's right, it's hashtag your favorite trendy show. That's a show that's all about everything trending on social media, the good, the bad, the ugly. Trust me, we talk about everything indeed. I'm talking about politics, entertainment, sports, business, some tea, some hot gist, some hot gossip too. You know the vibe. Yes, we do all of that here on Hashtag. Hashtag is that show for you that you just need after a long day at work. You've gone out to try to hustle and bustle, and you just come back and relax with your glass of wine to just have a very interesting show. Put on this show, and this is the show for you. All right, yes, do not forget that you could definitely be a part of the show by just commenting your opinions on all the hashtags that we discuss on every edition, on YouTube at Voice of the People TV, and on social media we're at VOP TV Live. Well, I'm your girl Kayla, and I'll be holding it down for you on today's edition. Well, we've got so much to talk about. We were talking about this particular story that's been going on for some days now, for about 2 days. Well, we're talking about hashtag Elsa and Naomi Campbell. Yes, the supermodel Naomi Campbell. Well, there's so much to be going on there. The allegations pointed at the supermodel Naomi Campbell, and it looks like it's coming from the content creator herself, Elsa. Well, we'll be getting into all of this after the break, all right? So don't go anywhere, because there's some serious conversation you need to know of, and you need to know what's happening with the stardom and with the industry as a whole. All right, well, stay tuned. I've got more for you after this break. Welcome back to Hashtags here on VOP TV, a show that's all about everything trending. That's right. Well, before the break, I did announce to you that we have a very interesting conversation that we're going to be looking at today. In fact, there are allegations that have been pointed at the beautiful supermodel. Yes, the well-known Naomi Campbell. Looks like Naomi Campbell is pimping or being pimping certain young content creators to top class, top standard, high class, elite white men. Well, how did we get to know of this? Well, the younger content creator Elsa has come out on social media to disclose that. Well, she did post a TikTok that's now deleted. She did post a TikTok video about 8 minutes actually, and we have that video, but we're playing it shortly after I just introduce who Elsa is and how she actually got recognition and how she did come out in the limelight. All right, yes, well, Elsa which is a Kenyan comedian from Nairobi, and she started off from this satirical monologues that she usually does on social media, right? Mainly on X. At the time, it was known as Twitter, and on TikTok. Well, she has a huge following now, so of course that was what caused her to gain very big recognition. Well, she used to feature herself, she used to stay doing this monologues, you know, featuring her potato chips. She had this very interesting potato chips in every video, and she will lean back with this very interesting pillow and use a pair of tiny sunglasses as a prop. Yes, well, Elsa was known for that. She's an interesting comedian, and she had a very interesting accent, I must say, because anytime you watch Elsa's video, she's always talking about how she's going to be rich. Like, yes, I'm going to be very rich. And you know, she always talks about just knowing that at the time she wasn't really, you know, financially buoyant, but she was always affirming, you know, financial elevation and a big financial status in her life. Well, Manjimbo gained recognition early in 2020 during the COVID-19 quarantine period by just making home-based comedy skits and comedy videos. Well, let me just take you guys back. Okay, so let me take you back now. Oh, you know that at the time, 2020 was the very interesting year in the lives of everybody in the whole world, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but for everyone around the world, because it was an interesting period for us. I must say that was when we did find out about the deadly virus, the coronavirus, and you know, you don't recall that that was a depressing time for every individual in the world. And you know, we just had social media like our remedy. So every one of us used to go back on social media. I mean, that was when TikTok became the it app, and that was when everybody really started really getting aware of the TikTok app, and everyone used to do interesting challenges at the time. And also, not just that, but some young acts, young content creators and young skit makers used that opportunity and used the platforms they had at the time, you know, with the little equipments they could get their hands on, to create interesting videos and interesting skits and contents for everyone around the world at the time. Well, Elsa Majibo happened to be one of those individuals. She was one of those young ladies from Kenya, you know, and she was an interesting comedian, like I said, with a very interesting prop, her sunglasses, her potato chips in every video at the time. She used to have a very, very funny looking hair at the time too, I must say. She had this interesting hair at the time as well. And she gained recognition in early 2020 during this pandemic period. So people started getting really, really aware of who Elsa Majibo is. In fact, it turned out that she had lots of following after those videos she made, and she became very, very popular. I mean, in February 2021, she partnered with luxurious brands like Valentino, and by the end of that year, she had received endorsement from both Fenty, the very beautiful makeup products by Rihanna, and MAC. You know, her monologues were even featured on very interesting channels like Comedy Central several times in June 2020. And she had been called out and applauded by the supermodel Naomi Campbell, Lupita Nyong'o, the actress, you know, John Smalls, Miss Universe, Anderson Cooper. Many top people got very, 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 very impressed with this wonderful young content creator. By the way, she is 22 years old. If I didn't mention that, yes, well, currently Elsa Majibo is 22 years old. So let's say back in 2020, she was 19 years old actually. Yes, back in 2020, she was 19 years old, because now she is 22, right? Yes. Okay, well, now she's currently an ambassador for MAC Cosmetics. She's also really gained very, very big ambassador roles with Rihanna's Fenty. You know, she's also showcased the brand's glasses in every shade. I'm talking about the Fenty glasses. She's also won awards. Yeah, she's won the People's Choice Awards back in 2020. For favorite African social star. So I must say, she has gained so much recognition, not just from top celebrities, not from top people in the entertainment industry internationally, but she's also gotten awards. I mean, even at the Streamy Awards in 2020, she also presented a Majibo. Majibo got presented, that's Elsa, with her Creator Honor Award. I can go more and more and more. I go on and on and on. I mean, she has been presented with so many awards and so many ambassadorial, you know, roles and tied to. I mean, back in 2022, Majibo appeared on Steve on Watch, a Facebook show hosted by Steve Harvey, where she talked about her life and more specifically her career in comedy. Now, one person that Majibo had always made us understand that she used to look up to was the supermodel Naomi Campbell. Yes, well, now let's talk about Naomi Campbell. Let's talk about who she is. Well, Naomi Campbell is a very, very interesting, beautiful black supermodel. Yes, very beautiful black supermodel that came out back in the 90s, where she did make and pave the way for black models and pave a way for black models on a runway. So yeah, she's a very beautiful British supermodel. And she has walked many runways of many top fashion brands. I can't even start mentioning, because Naomi Campbell is that lady. Yeah, she is that lady that every model looked up to growing up. Not just even models, but you know, young black beautiful ladies, black beautiful girls, both in Africa and overseas. Many young ladies looked up to Naomi Campbell because she had the charisma, the sophistication, the poise, and she had everything. Not to just talk about it that she was a top supermodel, she was getting the highest pay. Yes, the highest pay for a supermodel. It's just amazing, right? Yes, so Naomi Campbell is almost every girl's role model, if I must say. And Elsa Majibo was one of those girls that used to look up to Naomi Campbell. Well, she started trending back on February 18 this year, because of her, because of a little situation she had with a supermodel, Naomi Campbell, who is her mentor. So imagine you met with your mentor and now you have an issue, or your mentor doesn't appear to be the person you think she is. Well, in a now a deleted TikTok video, Elsa revealed how she met this British supermodel and what happened between them and their current relationship. So you know how she does her videos inside her house. She did bring out a video sharing events in her life with her followers while, you know, slathering shea butter. So let me just say something. Elsa is known for putting different ointments and oil on her body while talking. She's just always applying something on her body. Maybe that's her style of creating content. You know, everybody has their style. Well, Elsa said everything. I mean, she went down memory lane back to December 2020 to the first time she met with a supermodel, Naomi Campbell. Well, let's take a look at this TikTok video because now it's been taken down from her page, but we did get this video and we're just going to play for you. Maybe play some part, not everything, but give you guys a hint of what she was trying to say. Well, let's take a look at the video.
Talk about Naomi Campbell. Talk about Naomi Campbell. Talk about Naomi Campbell. Talk about Naomi Campbell. There's Naomi, your mentor. Relax. Relax. I'm here to tell you today what happened. So, in December 2021, no, in December of 2020, Naomi was coming to Nairobi to do some shopping. She was on holiday, but on a remote place. So she was in Nairobi doing shopping. And I texted her and she told me she's in Nairobi. So I was so excited to meet her. She was the first celebrity I was ever going to meet. Guys, I was through the roof. She texted me, she was like, hey, I'm here. She texted me the location. I went directly. I went with my brother. So my brother and I, we met her, we did some shopping. And as we're shopping, she's like, oh, you know, the plane that's taking us back actually has couple more seats. Do you and your brother want to join us on holiday? Hell yes. So I was like, oh, that would be so lovely. But I texted my dad, I said, hey, get the car ready, I'm coming to the house. We are going to the airport in an hour to meet Naomi Campbell so she can take me on vacation. So we go on vacation. We had like a very nice vacation. Naomi took care of me the whole entire time. We were staying on the beach, we're doing this, and then like this, that, eating, just having fun, you know, what people do on vacation. And this one time we were on the beach, Naomi was like, oh, you know, we should do a documentary, a film about you living in Kenya. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fantastic. She introduced me to a couple of people in Hollywood. It was so lovely. So a couple of people she was on vacation with were coming to Nairobi after the vacation. They were staying at the Kempinski. So I went to see them at the Kempinski when the whole thing was over. So I sat down with them. I was talking to one of them, and one of them was like, oh, it's so, like, how did you meet Naomi? And I was like, oh no, I texted her on Instagram, blah, blah. And she was like, oh yeah, she told us like she made you and she built you and she made your career. And I was like, what? No, that's not what happened. And I was like, you mean like helped me and like promoted me? And she was like, no, like what you have is because of her. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that didn't happen. It is very important you remember that part for later. Okay, so time goes by. March 2022. We have jumped into March 2022. I get a phone call. My phone is ringing. Naomi Campbell. Oh, so I pick up, I'm like, hey sis, like how are you doing? And she's like, Elsa, how dare you? Oh, so I'm in shock, right? I'm in shock. I don't know what's going on. So let me tell you what happened, the context of this phone call. So I had just finished the previous year, I had done a documentary on my life, about bullying, about growing up with colorism, all these things, about comedy, where I fell in love with comedy. So the film was debuting at Tribeca Film Festival, and someone from Tribeca asked Naomi if she's coming, and Naomi thought the film was the film she had suggested to me on the beach about me leaving Kenya. So I was like, no, that's not what it's about. I tried explaining to her, and then she was like, I'll sue you for the rights of this movie, and you know I'll win, right? So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm telling you, it's not about that. So I tell her, let me call you tomorrow. And she asked me, like, why didn't you tell me when I told you at the beach? And I was like, you're Naomi Campbell. You know, like, I was starstruck. Like, it took me very long to, like, process that moment. And I was like, I'll call you tomorrow. So the next day I had a flight. The flight I was taking from Botswana to Ghana, where I met that guy actually. That's the time I was taking that flight. So I was supposed to call her the next day, but it was a 22-hour flight, and in Ethiopia there was no service, so I couldn't call her. So I called her the day after. Immediately I landed in Ghana. So she's the first person I called. I'm like, hey, hey, blah blah. Like, are you free to talk? And she tells me, you were supposed to call me tomorrow. You were supposed to call me yesterday. You didn't call me yesterday, which she was very right about. And she said, I have the Met Gala, and she was like, this is the last time I'm speaking to you. Have a nice life. And she hung up, which I was like, I was very saddened by the situation, right? But I was like, if that's how she truly feels, because I respect people's space. So I was like, if that's how she truly feels, fine, it's okay. So I let it go. So after that, like a few months, things started going very badly for me. Things started going haywire, and I didn't think it was. I thought it was because of the situation. Let me not lie, but I was like, you know, also it can be sure. So I was like, let me go, because also having someone like Naomi Campbell not liking you in the industry is not a good thing. So I went to her, I apologized. I'd already apologized when the situation had happened, but I went and I apologized again and again. I started calling her, I started texting her, and then one day she just texted me and she was like, stop calling me. I have a child to take care of. So after that, I just said, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. I started drinking. That's why I even quit alcohol. I started drinking. I started drinking a lot. Yeah. And then, because I wasn't sure why things were going so wrong, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then a few months later, I met Edward Enifel at a party, and Edward Enifel is one of, oh my goodness, he's one of the people I adore the most. So I was like, oh my goodness, that's Edward, I have to go say hi. So I go, I'm like, hey Edward, I'm such a big fan. And he looks at me, he's like, I know you. And then he said something that made me think the situation with Naomi was causing like some of the trials and tribulations I was currently going through. So I was like, you know what, I need to fix this. So I went to one of our mutual friends and I was like, hey, please, can you tell Naomi, because I knew they were going on holiday together. So I was like, hey, can you please tell Naomi to text me? And she was like, yeah, I'll make sure, and blah, blah. So a couple of days went by, and then Naomi finally texted me, and she was like, yeah, I let that go a long time ago. I'm not one to hold a grudge. She sent me a very lovely text. She said, Happy New Year. So after that happened, this was the new year 2023. So after that happened, every single step I made, every single move I made, I told Naomi. Every single thing I did, I told Naomi. I would breathe. I tell Naomi. Whether she would reply or not, I would send her a message, because I didn't want what happened to happen again. And after some time, after a few weeks, I called my mom and I was like, this isn't normal. This doesn't feel healthy. It kind of feels, you know, it doesn't feel too nice. There's nothing healthy or normal about this. And I was like, I don't want to be in a situation like this. So after that, I just decided it is healthier for me to completely remove myself from the situation and get myself out. And you remember earlier when I said my friends said, the ones Naomi had introduced me to, when they said, oh, Naomi had made you. You remember when I said that? So I just want to acknowledge that and say that even through all this, right, even through everything that happened, first of all, number one, obviously I played a part in it, because I am part of the story. In any situation you are in, you play.
Hey, well, like I said, that video is 8 minutes long, so we're going to have to stay here for like 8 minutes and watch everything. But I believe at the end, or to complete this video, she talked about how she started getting pimped by Naomi Campbell to white elite men. All right, yes. Now, you guys heard everything. I believe you had everything Elsa said, and like she just rightfully said before I started talking, that she believes she played a part in this. Well, you can comment down below if you think so, because she talked about how she kept, you know, always trying to get Naomi's opinion after the first situation that went down with the documentary that she released at the time, and how Naomi Campbell told her to stop talking to her, and she kept calling, kept pushing. So she was pestering. She's really pestering, and now afterwards Naomi gets to talk to her and she starts telling Naomi everything. So I mean, what I'm just going to leave the question for you guys. What do you think she did wrongly here? At the end of the day, you can't also take that away. According to her, this is what she said. She said that Naomi, you know, took her to white men, elite men, and tried to pimp her out, but she wasn't comfortable with that, so she stopped, and she thought it wasn't nice. I mean, even due to the fact that Naomi stopped talking to her at the age of 18, 19, she started drinking a lot. Well, you do know that Elsa is a very vocal person. I mean, this was what also drew attention to her page and her content back in the time, because she's very vocal and she expresses herself very, very, very well. Well, she's come out to express something that happened with her and her supermodel mentor, which happens to be Naomi Campbell. Well, yes, there's a lot that she did lay out on Twitter. She put a lot on X, formerly known as Twitter. She posted some things, and you know, it got people talking. It got so many people reacting to it, which we're going to take on the next edition of hashtags. Well, this is going to be a part 1, and we're going to continue with this tomorrow, because it looks like Elsa did say a lot. We've not heard from Naomi Campbell herself, actually. We're still waiting. Maybe, who knows, maybe tomorrow or by the next edition I'll be on here. She may have given us a reply to this whole situation with Elsa and herself. But in the meantime, this is how far we are going to go on today's show, and that's where we're going to call it a wrap on today's show, all right? Yes, well, do not go anywhere. We're still going to have more of Elsa and Naomi Campbell's stories and more of the gist, and really elaborate what went down with these two individuals, all right? Yes. Well, I'm Kayla, and of course, you can definitely share your comment on YouTube at Voice Other People TV, and on social media, we're at VOP TV Live. We'll see you next time with more Elsa stories.